Welcome back to Arise Entertainment 360.
That's right, we're back.
We are back and confused from the weekend.
Exactly.
Now, while many bluegrass and hip-hop people, hip-hop musicians rather, you know, it's not normally your regular combination, but our first guest has found a way to mix the two together and create a mellifluous sound.
That's right, and now he has a group that's heading out on tour here with more singer, songwriter, and producer, Rench. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, we need to talk about the name of your group,
Okay,
Gangstagrass.
Gangstagrass.
I mean, wow, first of all.
It's a little bit self-explanatory, right? You have bluegrass players and you have hip-hop MCs coming together to collaborate.
What made you want to even mix the two together?
These are influences that I've had for a long time. I grew up in California in the 80s when hip-hop was exploding. So in third grade for me, recess was about putting down cardboard to do backspins to the Beat Street soundtrack, to Run DMC, all that kind of stuff. But my dad's from Oklahoma, so when I got home on the turntable, it was all Willie Nelson and Johnny Cash and stuff like that. I came to New York, I live in Brooklyn, and I was producing hip-hop beats for rappers, and I always had these instincts to be like, you know what would sound really cool here would be a little fiddle or some pedal steel guitar, which they never wanted to do. So I started doing it for myself, and it really caught on.
So what kind of reactions do you get when you tell people that you mix bluegrass with hip-hop?
Well, unfortunately, when I say it with words, usually people run away.
Right.
They try to imagine it themselves, and what they imagine is something really bad. So everybody out there that's thinking this is never going to work, you know, it's one of those things that you kind of have to hear how we do it to understand how it could really work.
Well, I think we may have a clip. Hopefully, we can show people a little bit of what the music sounds like, what it looks like. Because when I saw it, I was very impressed. Like, okay, so let's take a look at a clip.
Amazing.
Clan battalion, stampede on the tracks like a gang of stallions. Put your arms up, wave your hands around, and make some noise for the way my band is sounding. Started from the bottom, scrounging and scraping. An age when there was no frauds or faking. Back in the days when you placed the tape in, recorded every word MCs are saying. Now the beats are breaking, returning to greatness. Put some Gangstagrass joints on your playlist. Whatever your faith is, say your prayers. Meet us on the Hudson or the Delaware. We gon' take what we do once we get it there. Put it together and send it to every hemisphere. Even though we bring the heat, you can bet it's rare and everybody's gonna want a piece, so you better share. Meet me down by the river, all for one. Meet me down by the corner, it's all for one tonight.
Pushing in.
I love that.
Right?
I love that. Okay, little known secret. I actually really like country music. Shh, don't tell anyone.
I don't mind it either. I can do like square dancing, the
But
same
you know
as
what?
line dancing.
I feel like there's so many people that have like Johnny Cash on their iPads as well as Jay-Z. You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
exactly what I've been saying.
That's
You scratch the
amazing.
surface, there's people all out there that have all kinds of mixed tastes in music.
Yeah.
We just get the wrong idea because we have separate charts, separate magazines, separate TV stations, but the actual audience is all overlapping out there.
Oh.
Okay, so how do you get the audience into your venues, and what does your audience look like?
Well, it depends on where we're playing. If we're playing in Kentucky, it's one audience, and if we're playing in Philadelphia or LA, it's a different audience, or in Brooklyn, where we are now. You know, it's a pleasure to play around the country for all kinds of different people and watch these different audiences that come see us get down to the same music and open up to the idea that we could all party together really across these perceived differences.
I love that. Now, historically speaking, hip-hop is, of course, black, if you will, whilst, you know, bluegrass is speaking like white, right?
Well, that's the perception that we've been given by the industry, but really if you trace roots back, you see so much cross-collaboration and so much cross-influences. You know, the roots of country music, if you go back, the banjo is an African instrument that was brought over by slaves in their memories of what they would play, and they created them when they got here, and that was appropriated and became part of bluegrass, and of course country music was the combination of the British ballad tradition with the gospel tradition of the slaves there, and the blues and everything crosses over each other. So this perception that we have this clear-cut white and black music is something that's been perpetuated a lot by the industry, not by the musicians.
Yeah. And because of these perceptions, do you feel like you're doing something to improve race relations?
I would hope so, and that's part of what is so exciting about this project, is the idea that we can go out there and challenge these assumptions, that there's so much separation and that we can't bridge these perceived gaps, when really there's so much common ground there that we can do musically, and also to bring up the common ground that those music share in terms of the ideas of the outlaw, the ideas of the economic hardship that's actually shared in different parts of the country that people don't sometimes see as common ground, but really can be.
Yeah. Do you ever have trouble mixing the two, or mixing both the crowds and the music?
No, the crowds get along great. People are so happy to have the chance to come and be part of something that's bringing people together. I think people are really looking for that right now, and the music comes naturally. Once you get the musicians together, they start going, and we start finding so much commonality. Hip-hop and bluegrass both have very strong improvisational elements, and just different words for the same things. And so when we found, like, passing something around in a circle where you're improvising and trading solos and stuff, in hip-hop it's called a cipher, with one guy beatboxes and the other guys trade verses off the top of their heads. And in bluegrass it's called a pick, where somebody calls out a song and they start trading solos off the top of their heads. But once we realized these words were different but the ideas were the same, we could just jump on that and start doing that across these genres. So that's just one example of how much the musicians are easy to slip into it.
So you mentioned that there are hip-hop MCs in the group, but you also mentioned that you have a hip-hop background in terms of the music that you like to listen to. So do you also rap?
I have occasionally.
Can you rap for us?
Yes, come on, give it a little something. You can even play the guitar.
Yes, we're going to play and rap at the same time.
Yes, I could do a little Cypress Hill for you.
Oh, yes.
If that's not a problem.
All right now. Yes. Come on, then.
Hey, now don't miss out on what you're passing. You're missing the hood. I'm the funky Buddha, a looter. You messed up style, I get wicked. So come on to Cypress, start to kick it. Cause we're like outlaws striding, with suckers are hiding. Jump behind the bush when they see me striding by. Hanging out the window with my magnum, taking out some putos, acting kinda local. I'm just another local kid from the street, getting paid by my vocals. Here is something you can't understand, how I could just kill a man. Here is something you can't understand, how I could just kill a man. Here is something you can't understand, how I could just kill a man. Here is something you can't understand, how I could just kill a man. So I tend to start countrifying when I'm rapping. Same thing the other way.
You can't help it. It goes interchangeable, right?
And I start singing country music, and I want to put beats and DJ scratching under it.
I like
Loving it.
So when you are mixing, and you guys, are you with the rappers and you're with the other? But how did you find the rappers? I know we were wondering that. How did you find the rappers and say, you know what, I have this idea?
Can you rap along to Bluegrass for me?
Yes, well, I love producing beats, and so that's part of my background is producing beats and having a studio. And I would, rappers would come to help me work on their tracks, and I would record their vocals and mix their tracks and everything, just as a hip-hop producer. And so through that I met a lot of MCs here in New York that I started working with. And when I decided to start doing this bluegrass hip-hop collaboration, I tested it out in the studio first by calling up some of the MCs that I worked with and say, hey, would you mind if I took those vocals that you laid down and then I put some bluegrass with it? And they didn't know what bluegrass was, but they said, sure, Rench, go ahead, try that out. And so that was the initial experiment that kicked it off.
So being that you're all from different diverse backgrounds within the group, what does it work like? How do you guys not all hang out together, or you and your friends in the group and then you do your own thing outside of it? How does it work?
We love hanging out together. The band's pretty spread out though. The ones that we do for the live show, I have a banjo player in New Jersey and MCs in Philadelphia and a dobro player that's actually in Flagstaff right now. So we kind of come together when it's time to hit the road, but then we get to hang out a lot, spend those days in the van driving
Jamming
from
to
city
DMX.
to
That's
city.
a rhyme.
Yeah, right.
Well, before you go, you have to tell us where you guys are going to be touring. You're going to be in that van traveling around.
Yes, in March we're going all across the Midwest and the Southeast. We're going from New York to D.C. to Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and then down through Tennessee and Kentucky and North Carolina. And so check out Gangstagrass.com. All the tour dates are listed there that you can see us going around. We're in 20, 25 cities.
Wow,
that's awesome.
Amazing.
Okay.
So www.gangstagrass.com.
Yes.
Fantastic stuff. Thank you, Rench.
Yes, keep up the great work, and please, if you don't mind, singing us to break, whatever you like.
Absolutely. Here's a little ode
We
to
should
getting
get you and him to do a cypher. You can rap.
I'll rap, you go, you play.
Yeah, you can play, and then he'll rap.
Right. Well, here's a little countryside of the outlaw narrative that hip-hop shares, but this is an ode to getting arrested. Here I am again, getting read my rights every time that I do my thing. My chauffeur's got a siren and these handcuffs on my bling. I may be causing trouble, but my friends, I do it well. And you know where you can find me, in my home sweet holding cell.
We will be right back.
I look good in mugshot, in the back of a cruiser, I'm still high. I know my rights and I won't stop.
I won't stop.
Using the freedom that I got.
I got freedom now.
My mind, taking the street.
My
and
mind
if
in
they
the
come
street.
to put the cuffs on me,
Click, click, click.
God, I look good in a mugshot.